guys, welcome to my Orchid channel. Today's video is going to be a little kitchen grow space tour. Stuff's happening. Now it's spring and all. Some successes, some failures. Well, that's just the way it goes when you're growing orchids. So let us look at a couple of successes. First, always bring the good news. First, look at this one. Phragmipedium supergrandi. From Orchid Centrum Wickman. The Wickman nursery in Germany. I have nothing but good things to say about them when it comes to the quality frags they are delivering. Size and price, it's all been great to my satisfaction. So let us take a look at her. She's been blooming at the very same time period last year as well, but this year she came out with 3 in succession. The last thing that grows are the petals. You can see the petals to the first flower to be open are a lot longer than the latest one. And there will still be, I think, could it be? Yeah, be careful. Could be something in that as well. I don't want to bend it and stuff, but there's still another bud which will open up in a couple of days' time, and which means that this one will probably drop. It's starting to look a little bit tired. Each and every one of them separately blooms for 2 weeks. Is sitting in a clay pot. Is it even possible when it comes to these water-loving orchids? Yeah, it really is, as they also do love to keep their roots cool. Have you ever seen a video on Phragmipediums at nurseries sitting in reservoirs with an oxygen power head circulating the water 24/7? Always accessibility to a lot of fresh, cool water rich in oxygen. Yeah? So, this is a very, very large plant, creating 2 new growth already. So, yeah. I'm starting to dream about next year's blooming already, and what that one would or could look like, if we're lucky. Yes? And behind that one, I have something I just spotted, which made me very, very happy. The Phragmipedium is forming a spike. So, if you didn't know it before, now you know how a Phragmipedium spike comes out. That's not a spike. This is always shaped like little scissors. 2 pointy edges. So it's not going to bloom in June this time around. There are other stuff here. This Paphiopedilum Rosedorn hybrid. I think this one is the White Lady by now. Doesn't matter. She just blooms and blooms and blooms. This one is overbloomed and was replaced by this one. It's a lovely plant to have. Very large. So I sold a little division from her. Didn't harm her at all. She just kept on going and blooming. Yeah? Here we have a very, very huge Dendrobium. If you guys have any suggestions on how to make this thing bloom, please write them down in the comment section. Dendrobium chrysotoxum. So it's been given a little bit of water every other week, perhaps. I just kept it cooler and drier. For a moment I thought that this could, yeah, it was looking quite promising, but I've seen this before. Bumps everywhere, but absolutely no blooms. Even on the one I had prior to this one. The one I sold, yeah. So, any ideas will be gladly received. Dendrobium, blue happiness. Can rebloom from the very same spot. Again, as you can see here, that one carrying 3 overbloom spikes. So that might happen. Starting on another new growth there. So I need to water her a little bit more often. Yeah, Angraecum, Magdalene, she did bloom for me. And if I'm not messing up totally, you can see those spikes there. She is starting on a new spike. It can very easily dry out. So I'm going to put her into the cabinet for a while. This spike will take a very long time to be produced. So as it did in this case, it started out just like a little thingy, a little nubbin or whatever to the base. Well, I thought it was another new growth as she produces new growth. Here you can see a little tiny kiki of some sorts, very slow growing here. So I figured that might as well just be another one of these. But it turned out to be a first time blooming for this guy. So maybe comes late spring, summer, she will bloom again. Now, when she's got started. And this is, some say it's a quite tricky one to get into bloom, so I'm quite proud of the results and that I succeeded to get her to bloom. It's such a gorgeous, gorgeous blooms on this one. Fairly large for being on such a relatively tiny plant. Let's move over to the next orchid. But what I discovered only yesterday was the first time success for me and my Dendrobium nobly growing or blooming. Look, this is great news, I think. Or is it? Yeah, it is. Look here. Stuff is coming. Look. Developed very quickly, very fast, indeed. I didn't see anything a couple of days ago. So, there's on 2 of her 3 new skeins, I'd say. And this little tiny one probably won't bloom. Oh, maybe, maybe. She's got a couple of bumps here, but... So, this is, I don't know its name. I think I got the trade name. Dendrobium nobile. Yeah, Sunny Eyes. That's his name. And I did repot it while after I received it in, I think, May last year. I didn't stop watering her altogether. She was in a cabinet there when she was in full bloom and as she was growing these 3 new canes, which reached the size of the old ones, as you can see, but they even outgrew it, grew them. So they've been growing on better. So I really do hope they won't turn into cakeys. But I moved it from there as her new growth was tall enough, almost the size of the previous ones. Put her into this bright and a little bit cooler window and reduced the watering to a little bit every other week, every 10 days perhaps. So it's been a little bit cooler, under 20 degrees, for several months now in this window, but still quite bright. So, nothing fancy, but it worked for the very first, no, not the very, but for one of the first times, a good blooming on a nobly type for me. Yes? What else do I have? Maybe this wasn't really the recipe for the Parisii. Or was it? She's sitting in some kind of coconut husk fiber chips, which retains the moisture very nicely. So I've just been giving her a little trickle of water. Yeah, once a month. Now she's lost virtually all of her leaves. So, what now? Aren't we going to expect a couple of buds now forming? That was the whole idea of starving this plant. Yeah, I rather want her to look like that. So, obviously there will be no blooms, or I'm not sure. But what I am sure of is that we do have spike, very nice spike, on the Coelogyne mesangina, also referred as tomentosa. It's a species orchid. She can bloom virtually any time of the year. She's been blooming in May. She's been blooming in March. And she's been also blooming in November. So it doesn't really matter for her, seems. This time she comes out with 21 flowers. When she blooms in a cooler period, her blooms will last about 12-14 days. When she blooms in a harder period, in a harder season, her blooms won't last longer than 8 to 9 days. So, but she's gorgeously scented. Around 6-7 centimeters wide flowers. Typical Coelogyne shape and form. And lip, I might add. Very long regime. 50 centimeter long, perhaps. Yeah. So that's great. Well, speaking of Coelogyne orchids, I watch YouTube sometimes, of course I do. And I've been viewing other orchid channels with beautiful cristatas in bloom in January. And I looked it up, and that's the season when my 2 cristatas last bloomed. January. This one from Grossrechner, Grossrechner, bloomed in January last year for 3 weeks. And now it's the end of March. No sign of any blooms. And here's my old one. Hasn't bloomed for 2 years. Now, this one is a worse plant. And I really do think that it's getting way too dry. I need to repot it. And it might plump up a bit. And that, this is from Hans Christiansen in Denmark. Lovely flowers. But as I said, 2 years ago. But it did bloom in my cave, so I'm not dissatisfied. But as I looked, I took a closer look at my a little bit larger, a little bit more well-grown plant from Großrechner. It's the most difficult name I've ever heard. Look, there is something there. To that one. And if we look closely, there is something to that one as well. And if we look even more closely, this is where it last bloomed from. It's last year's spike, yeah, overbloomed spike. We can witness that one here. But here, yes, and it's not even on the same growth, so it's not a new growth. It's a spike. So, if we're lucky, 3 spikes on the Cristata. I've been witnessing these guys blooming in April several times before, so it's not uncommon that the blooming season varies a little bit. Yeah, let's call it spring. So they might as well just bloom in January, as well as as in this case, it will be in April. As that spike has grown about 3 centimeters in the last couple of days, so it's progressing very, very fast. So hooray! And now we're going to see a picture of her in bloom. This particular one, last year's blooming. And I did keep her outside on my balcony throughout June, approaching October, I think. So just before frost arrived, I brought her inside again. And yeah, up there, additional lights, ceiling fan, a little bit cooler, with the heating elements virtually switched off throughout the whole winter period. So a little bit below 20 degrees Celsius at some points in this kitchen area. That was enough for this a little bit cooler growing, a lot cooler growing orchid. And some say that it even exists a warmer growing variation, but a little bit longer and more slender canes. But I don't think that one is needed, as the original ones obviously have been acclimatized enough throughout the evolution to manage to bloom in intermediate conditions as well. Yeah, and this gorgeous plant I received last autumn, I think. Dendrobium spectabile, with its gorgeous flowers. Fairly nice. New growth, shining, good leaves. Looks like a healthy plant still. Here we have something I won at the lottery, the Oak Society. Yeah. Barkeriana, or yeah. Look. She's I decided to keep her semi-mounted and bare-rooted, so she stays in a vase. And she dropped her buds and her flowers very quickly after I received it. But now she starts to create some new buds on the same spike. So she's extending the spike, really, just like a phalaenopsis. So she's starting all over. So I won't be sad anymore. The flowers looks just like, yeah, spectacular. Looks like this. Kind of, sort of cute, I think. I don't know if I can focus here, but if I can. They are relatively cute. Maybe, yeah. It's a funny plant to have. Something different in a collection. What's behind here? I was hoping for this Dendrobium nobile, the species, to bloom. But, well, maybe not. That is a good, I mean, the growth she created in mica. It's not bad, really. It's the same size as previous year's growth, which bloomed. But now she's growing her new shoots here so very, very quickly. So I don't think she will bloom. But anyways, it's just a good attempt, yeah. And Richara, or Myrmicativola Francis Fox, is creating. See now, yeah, there's a spike there. And the other spike, I think that one is blasting this bud here. I don't think there will be anything on that spike. It happened last time, I think last year as well. She came out with one good spike and the other blasted. And next year was the other way around. So maybe if this one fails, that one will start growing. Yeah, it's alright. It's alright. As I discovered something else. On my Dendrobium delicadum. Look. I think it's a first time spike. Yeah, spike attempt. Oh. Yeah, it's only a sheath. She's been really growing on very fast. Might be a spike. Not sure. But she's gonna stay. She's gonna stay for a while longer so we can see what happens, yeah? Well, let's look at something else. I didn't have time to show you guys this one in bloom, as it dropped its bloom 10 minutes ago. Still intact, looking as beautiful as ever. Still she dropped, sitting there, just so she's being replaced by this one. And after this one's finished, it's gonna be replaced with that bud, yeah. So now this is bloom number 3. It's gonna be number 4, and Lord knows how many others there will be. Look, as I told you guys in a previous video, that in her next growth there will probably be yet another bloom. And yeah, halfway matured. That's great. It's a very rewarding plant. Yeah, the bad part is that her old leaves always dies off when she starts blooming. And yeah, only a few days later. So, and she goes on and on and on and on. Yeah. I don't know if I showed you this one, but Mycodus. So, Lugecia Mycodus. It's a jewel orchid. arrived in spike, with one spike, I think. And a new growth on its way. There's a tiny little, new growth down there. Now, that one's blooming as well. The new growth, oh, not blooming, but soon it's going to be blooming. And so, it likes it in the cabinet, likes high humidity overall, these plants. So, doesn't surprise me. But it's got a very interesting foliage. Green lightning, I think this one is called as well. Or such. Don't remember right now, but perhaps green lightning. Quite suitable, isn't it? Oh, that's great. What else do we have here in this cabinet? Yeah. This beautiful little Dendrobium. It's just overbloomed. Officinale. Giving us a couple of more beautiful new growth. Let's see now. The Dendrobium and Angraecum is creating spikes. Got two lovely new growth. And that one as well. You can see there are buds forming, not only kikis. Yeah, I think that was it. Oh, yeah. Maybe not best of blooming, but at least it's a blooming. Yes, and that one as well, so that's lovely. And maybe the, yeah, not maybe, it is. Dendrobium lavesii, also species, pink. This one also comes in a little bit more reddish variation. It's not much, but a couple. Yeah. On the short cane. These longer canes, didn't really like to produce anything from, but she's been struggling a little bit. This plant. Some rotting down there to her newest shoot. So I've been cutting back on the watering, and I've been fairly careful with not overwatering it at this stage. So now they're coming on, the new growth. Yeah, they've been replaced, so to speak, as her previous new growth died of my treatment. So a little bit careful with watering, but still good. It's a start, yeah, and I'm happy for it. And behind, I just spotted something else. Ooh, let's be careful with the mount. Look, first time spiking for my Oranges Mr. from Coelogyne. I've had it for 1 year, arriving with, yeah, like you can see, 2 old spikes. Fairly large flowers for being a oranges, small sized, but it's growing on nicely, and it's very difficult to keep it moist to sustain it. So I was a little bit scared that it didn't like it, or wouldn't make it mounted, but obviously it's totally fine. It's worse for these types of orchids, the oranges, to be kept far too moist without drying out in between. They will easily rot, that's my experience. So, whoops, And if I don't drop it, maybe the spike will sustain as well. So that was a pleasant surprise. Well, and up here, to honor this day, the Lippewunder is gonna drop his bloom today, obviously. It's been out for a good 4 months, so I think you deserve to drop it now. It's alright. It's totally fine, yeah? But in return, as I always say, we do have this gorgeous plant, which I do think deserves an honor place, on a spot in this kitchen area. Look how it grows. I got it at the Orchid show in Landskrona in the beginning of September last year. So 6 months ago. Look how well she's growing. Yes. Paphiopedilum. Lovii, a species. Her petals were a little bit sloping just the other day, as she had just opened up. So I got a little bit disappointed. But now they're straight. And they are 17 centimeters across. That's a fairly good sized bloom, I'd say. Look at the lovely details. The rings. Beautiful rings. And small hairs to the petals. And the loveliest detail of them all is the splashes. The purple splashes to the tips of the petals, shall we see. Gorgeous thing to have. Sitting in its bark and calcium. Seashells. Healthy root system. Healthy plant. Well, I guess some nighttime filming is not in the way when it comes to presenting this orchid from a very best angle. First bloom. 1 week or 1.5 weeks later, I think. Still looking as healthy and fresh as always. No sign of any decline. I guess it's better to film by night time. I never really got a chance to film her at her fullest potential color-wise until now, so yes. Second flower to open, just as nice, nothing to complain about. And this third one open up today. So I need to film her with a flashlight on to at least get up to 80% of her right colors. It's very difficult. I don't know why, but she's kind of sort of melts in with the background when filming. No matter where I put her. I've been trying several places and different spots in this apartment, but I never really succeeded. So this one opened up today, yeah. So you can, here you can witness the sloping factor I was telling you guys about. So of course I got a little bit disappointed, but not for long. So, yeah, I'm satisfied with this first time blooming on a path. I think it's totally what? What's that? Nah. Cannot be. Or maybe? We shall see. Surprise. Let's move over to something else, also within the path genre. If we're lucky, there will be blooms. On this path, which I've fairly recently didn't grow as well as I wanted it to. I guess it even rotted in places. Yeah, it was kind of flimsy and tired looking. Only a couple of months ago. But look at her shiny new leaves. Look at her gorgeously grown root system here. Loads of oxygen to its roots. You can see the little hairs working as they should. I added on a layer with, yeah, here comes the difficult word, vermiculite. Yeah, whatever. Mixed up with, yeah, this bought by mistake coconut husk char. But it serves a purpose now as a top layer on all of my paths in case of some new roots here. And my thought is to keep the moisture down a little bit longer. I'm not sure if it's working or not, but it certainly looks alright. Another new yeah, a new fan coming there as well. I didn't see that one before. And this fan it arrived with. This one reminds me, you guys, of the Path King of Sweden. So I thought it was funny to get, yeah, especially this hybrid at the local garden center with yellow flowers with white linings, just like a frame. It was very, very nice Dutch hybrid, yellow hybrid. Ah, I'm so pleased with her right now. So, in a week, maybe. So, early spring, late winter, obviously, is her blooming season. And this path also blooms sequentially. So she had another bud coming here. Yeah, that's what happened. Now I suddenly recall what happened. Yeah. Well, I guess you guys, it's high time that I close this video. Way too long, but maybe it's okay. Let me tell you what I think about it. If it's too much to look at in one and the same video, or if this way of presenting it is alright, and if it resonates with you guys. Or maybe I should cut them short in the future. Let me know. Give me some feedback. It will be highly appreciated, of course. As usual, I always appreciate when you guys leave a comment. It makes me feel that, yeah, you're still present. Yeah, you're still watching. After a few years, or perhaps you're new to this channel, and yeah, it would be nice if you presented yourself a little bit. Just say hi. Tell me who you are, or tell me what you grow. Yeah, tell me what you grow. You don't need to tell me who you are, if you don't want to. That would be nice as well, of course, but yeah, we can do that privately, through emails and stuff. Yeah, it's a better way, I guess. Anyways, if you wanna subscribe to this channel, give it a like, if you wanna. We should talk soon. Bye bye guys. Have a lovely day.